Hey guys, what's up? Something I didn't add to the list was my steering wheel being a little off center, my horn not working, and my airbag light not working. I'm not 100% sure if I'll get to the airbag light in this video, but I'm going to try to get to the horn and fix the steering wheel. Um, First thing that I'm going to do, just to show you guys what's going on, is I'm going to move the steering wheel off. Someone installed this NRG quick release and they did not install the horn button. I know this because I looked earlier. This right here will pop off. Now it'll come off like that. This would come off, but my key's there, so I'm just going to take my key off. There we go, that pops out. Now in here, this is the airbag sensor and this is the horn. This isn't really a sensor, it's a connector. Best way to deal with this is to either buy an airbag eliminator, or I heard you could put a 3.3 ohm resistor connected to these, and that will fix it. This right here is your horn, and what should have happened is they should have cut, spliced, did something to connect this wire through the hub back here and into the NRG quick disconnect. And you can see these two leads right here. One of these is negative and one of these is positive. The positive would be this wire, and the negative would be any negative that this would connect to, whether that be the clock spring or even just the shaft itself. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to disconnect this right here. I'm just going to use the Allen wrench and I'm going to undo it and just keep going around to each one. And if you see, they all kind of just come off. And for ease of videoing, I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video right here, and then I'm going to take it off. Alright, so I got most of them off. I'm going to take this one last one off right here. Once I cracked it with the Allen wrench, I could pretty much just do it with my fingers from that point on. And then this will be the last one I do. So if you look right here, you can see the wires that are connected. One of these is supposed to be connected to the horn, and the other one of these is supposed to be connected to the ground. I'm not sure which one of these is a ground and which one of these is the horn. I'm going to have to look that up. And then in order for me to fix the steering wheel, I'm going to have to take this nut off, pull this off, and reposition it. But the first thing that I want to try to figure out how to do or get ready for is to fix the horn. I think the easiest way for me to figure out what's going on is to go ahead and pull these off. I'm going to splice a line into here, and that way I can connect it to these. So that's going to be the next part of the video. Alright guys, here we go. I pretty much figured it out without taking it off. Black wire is my ground, and it's grounded here. It's grounded to the steering shaft itself. This right here would be my power. This power is supposed to be connected to this, but it's not. It's usually connected via the clock spring. But when the person installed it, they got rid of the clock spring, and then what would happen is your clock spring would be rubbing up against this plate right here, and then that would make your electrical connection right here. So what I need to try to figure out is how I could just bypass all that and get a wire all the way through. My concern though is this obviously moves back and forth while you're driving, and I need to make sure that the wire itself isn't moving back and forth or moving so much that it's going to just twist and break. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to be able to do that. What I'm going to do next is go ahead and just take this portion off and kind of just look at it and see what my options are. Alright, so here I am. I took the steering wheel off, I took the hub off, everything's detached from the car, and I kind of just figured out everything that's going on. This right here is what would be rubbing up against the clock spring. You would have an electrical connection there, it would just move back and forth. This right here comes through where this blue wire is now. So what I did is I made this blue wire, I connected it, and then I pulled it all through, and I have a whole bunch of extra wire here. Over here on the Momo steering wheel, on the horn, there are 2 male connections. On the NRG quick release, there's 1 female, and then this was a male. What I did is I added another female. So now what I'll do is I'll connect this piece and this piece to those 2 pieces, and that will make the connection. When you push on this button, they will connect to each other, and that's how the horn will sound. So what I'm doing is I'm essentially getting rid of this piece for now. I didn't cut it, break it, so I could reuse it later. It will reattach onto here if I need to, and I'm going to look into purchasing a clock spring. But for now, what I need to do is go ahead and put all of this back together and then reattach it to the car and hope that it all works, and hopefully get my steering wheel straight. Alright, let me show you what I did here. So this right here is called a T-splice. Basically, it spliced into the line, and then I'm able to put that male connector in there. That's my blue line. And what happens is it goes through there, and then it connects into there, and then this connects there. Now my ground is that right there, and I have this connected, so if I push on this button, everything should work. So you can see it works. So now the next step is to put everything back together and get my wheel on there straight. Alright guys, we're almost done. I have the steering wheel back on, and if you look, it's straight now. It used to be turned to the side like that. Now it's straight. My wheels are straight. I have everything back on. The quick release is back on. I attached this right here. Everything lined up. Basically, this being straight up is what made the steering wheel be straight up. And then I could connect the quick disconnect. Everything's good on there. Once again, I T-spliced off of here. This blue wire is coming out from behind the hub, and horn works. So now what I got to figure out is what to do with the blue wire. I think I put too much on there, which isn't that big of a deal. I could always trim a lot of that off. But my concern is how it's gonna move around when I'm turning. So I'm gonna start the car up, and then I'm gonna see what happens when I turn completely around. So if you look, I don't know if you saw that, but the blue wire does start to move. See it there, working its way around. But it's moving. There we go, now you can see it in the camera. And then it'll come back around the other way. So what I'll probably do is just loop that around a few times, put it back together, and see how that works out. Alright guys, so here we are. I'm driving around making sure that everything's working. So far so good. Everything seems to be fine. The horn's working still. I've driven around my block a couple of times, done a few U-turns, did a couple circles, circled one way, circled the other way in a big parking lot. No issues, no concerns. Everything seems to be working fine. Hopefully this helps out anyone that has the same issue that I have. Might look into buying a clock spring. I might look into maybe wiring a button and just putting it there. That way I don't have to really worry too much about the wires circling around in there. But I'll probably just run like that until I absolutely have to do something like it breaking. But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna have to do something about that check engine, or not check engine light, but that airbag light soon. I'm gonna try to see if I could buy a resistor online or buy the eliminator and hook it up. Alright, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you.